who were denied for the second straight time in as many FIBA Women's Asia Cups by Japan. They lost them in the final in 2017. Today, we've watched New Zealand get a big win over Chinese Taipei to clinch 5th place, and of course, Japan just very impressive once again against one of the powerhouses really for the past 2 decades in international basketball, Australia. So Japan and Korea, Korea and China, 2 traditional heavyweights in Asia. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Mills. And you know, Mark, the way that China won the other night, it was against Australia, that thriller with the shouting shot right at the end. It had the feel of a championship game, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. You know, we had a real treat with that game, and it did go all the way to the wire. And the wonderful thing for China is they won it on both ends. Xiaoting with a big spin in the move, and then Wang just continued her unbelievable game with the steal in the dying seconds to stop Australia getting any chance of trying to win that one. So a great win for China, and I imagine they have even more belief about themselves now.
They will have belief, and really this Korea team has certainly had its struggles. They had to go through the qualifications for the semifinals, beating New Zealand, and I don't think that we've seen a Korea that's really been in sync for this entire competition.
No, I don't think so either, and you can kind of tell because they're undersized, and that's going to be probably one of the big interesting things tonight. But being an undersized team, you think you'd shoot the ball well. They're only shooting 19% from 3-point, and if they want to win tonight, you have a feeling they're going to have to be shooting in the high 30s from beyond that arc, because against this Chinese front court lineup, it's a difficult ask to see where they're going to get points today.
Well, I guess all you can do if you're Korea is win in advance, and they've been able to do that to get to the last 4 now. China obviously hopes sky high that this will be their year, that they will end Japan's dominance, but before they get there, they have to beat Korea. How about Wang coming out there? She was without a doubt the star of the game against Australia. But this is not a one-woman team. I mean, they've got several weapons. Liu there coming out. Gao Song we saw. Xiaoting always there for the big plays, the big occasion. Zhu Lehman, I think, has done a good job. I mean, he really has. I feel like his attitude has changed a little bit this year, his character. He's really done a wonderful job over there on the bench for China. So we're about ready to start things, but before that, we're going to have the national anthems for both Korea and China, and Paul's in the commentary.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Team China.
So 2 great rivals meet, China and Korea. And on the evidence really of recent years and competitions, China, you know, pretty strong favorites, I think, to win this game and advance to the title game. But the same old, same old. If Korea can somehow knock down some three-pointers and get in front, you never know what might happen. The referees for tonight's game here in front of us, from India on the left, Rakesh Ramalingai, Buddy Marfan from Indonesia, and Glenn Cornelio from the Philippines.
Yeah, and for Korea, it really is one of those cases where every single second for every player on the floor has to be 100%. You know, they are big underdogs in the game today, and they're going to come away with the win. They're going to need to make sure that they leave everything on the floor. But some of the players to look out for, Kang is so influential on the offensive end. 13.6 ball, 4 assists against New Zealand, and they dealt with some big foul trouble in their last game. You know, she picked up early fouls but managed to hold it together, and she's vital for their efforts.
So Park Hae-jin, Kim Min-jong, Park Ji-hun, the youngster, the 19-year-old Bae Hae-yoon, and Koo Sul in the starting 5 tonight. So Kang not in the starting 5, and you know, she had to come out of the game the other day. She limped out with what we thought might have been a knee injury, but in the end I think it was more muscular. But anyway, she's not starting, but no doubt I expect her to come in.
Yeah, and on the Chinese roster, again, so much talent, but Lei Yu, 10.3 points, 11 rebounds again. You know, obviously Wang had that massive game, 18 points, and really just almost won the game single-handed in the end for China.
Yang Liwei, Wang Xiu, Xiao Ting, Li Yueru, and Chen Mingling, the starters for China tonight. So,
and I agree with you, the interesting point is probably Wang for Korea. Just the point I'd like to note is she didn't participate in the full warm-up.
And Kang, you mean?
Sorry, Kang, yeah,
Kang,
she
yeah.
didn't participate in the full warm-up earlier.
Hey, how about Lamai there from India? She's a star now. Look at that. She's been playing so well here. She gets on the big camera.
Full celebrity.
So maybe, yeah, so we'll wait and see about Kang, and you know, it could also, you know, the coach will be thinking we're definitely going to have a game tomorrow, whether it's the title game or the third place game.
Yeah.
And maybe he's not going to take any chances.
Yeah.
And, you know, she does have an injury.
Yeah, potentially, which would be a shame because she's really lit up this tournament. She's been one of the bright sparks and one of the better players for Korea. But like you say, no matter what happens tonight, there's medals on the line tomorrow, whichever game you're in.
Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter who they play. Tomorrow is going to be a big ask because it'll be Australia in the third place game and Japan in the title game. So, Lee Moon-kyu, the coach of Korea. I don't think he's had the same starting 5 in any game.
여기 떨어지는 거, 이 사람 오는 거, 여기 있는 사람. 오케이? 리바운드는 자기가 못 잡는다고 생각하면 박스 앞에서 뒤를 밀어내야지.
后卫在里，防守5号位在里，外面2个人防3个，1个防2个，就回收到里头，防他突破，就是这个，坚持这个原则，主要看精神面貌，中国人民在看着你。 父老乡亲在看。
Here are the starting 5 for the two
我
teams.
就从看
For Team Korea,
和拉满球。
Park Hae-jin on the floor.
我就看你的名片，别的没有。加
Well, Zhu fired up. Looks like he wants to go play himself. Zhu Liman, the national team coach, led the team at the Fiba Women's Basketball World Cup last year and was here 2 years ago as well. China got third. Last year they got to the quarterfinals of the Women's World Cup.
And just the youth of this Chinese team as well. You have a feeling that this is not just a squad to win now, this is a squad to win in the future. Average age just over 23 in this team. So many years of potential medals to come for this lot.
Well, good evening, and we're in Bengaluru, India. This is the semi-finals of the Fiba Women's Asia Cup. China in white and Korea in their dark blue. China winning the opening tip and attacking the basket to the left of the screen. Lee Yoru with the offensive rebound and putback off the Minglen miss.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult for Korea to stop Lee. She just has so much strength and power, and her finesse around the ring is improving as every game goes by.
Bay. Now Xiao Ting to a running Chen Minglen. And the early signs good for China. Park Ji-hun looking for some space. Now Kim, little hesitation. Nice finish with the left hand.
Really cool play in such a high pressure game.
Yang for three. That's good. That is a confident looking stroke right there.
Yeah, it is, and this is the problem Korea have got. They're slipping into the zone, and understandably so. That's going to help them, you know, being undersized, but this isn't a Chinese team you can give open shots to, and the zone might do that.
Park, one of the veterans, being guarded by Wang, who absolutely terrorized, I think it's fair to say, Australia.
Exact right word.
The other night.
Yeah, those Australians went to sleep and had nightmares about her.
Ku off the iron. Yang dumps it to Lee.
For me, no matter what defense Korea play, Bay literally has to stick to Lee like glue. She can't try and help anywhere else. She literally, ideally for me, wants to front her.
Bay, good footwork. Oh gosh. Lee's like, where is she? I can't find her.
She's definitely put her in a spin, but it shows just stay with the play. You know, a lot of players would have given up and taken a tough shot, but Bay just stayed with it.
Yang, another attempt, and simply cannot. Oh, the spin early, and then the pass. Xiao Ting. We're so used to seeing her shooting. It's unusual to see her try to make the pass. I think that's probably what Chen Minglen thought as well.
Yeah. Oh, the spin's coming out. Shot's going up.
An alert Chen Minglen. The ball was tapped by Korea, and Chen Minglen just kind of came in and snatched it out of the air and had an easy layup. Park and Bay, and Park gets inside, and they really need her to have a good game tonight. She's had one good game in this tournament, but has been kind of inconsistent. Here goes Yang, wide open, good!
Big shot. If I'm Korea, though, I'm going to have a quiet word, a little conversation with the officials, and ask exactly how long Lee Ye-yu is allowed to stand in the paint, because she is setting up camp in there at the moment and not moving.
Yep. There's now a tent in there and a grill. Lee takes it away. Really was fumbled by Kim. Oh, look at the fast break by Yang, and forces Korea to call timeout. Look at this.
And it's a strong arm bar. It's just within the realms of the rules. You know, she put her arm out and kept it straight. She didn't extend it to push away, and kept Bay at bay, as it were.
차려서 왜 정신 줄 놓고 그래? 해봐. 23으로 바꾸는 거야, 알았어? 앞선 라이드 뒤로 가고, 네가 뒷선 라인으로 가고, 알았지? 괜찮아, 괜찮아. 손 들어, 바짝. 어? 리바운드 형 박스 다.
有的时候出过点，哎，对，大家能传一下球解决问题的，咱们解决一下球。啊，准备对方还是变化。防守，我讲现在你们要提前空手抓空手，不让接球，所有人要做到强弱侧，尤其是强侧不让接球，弱侧回收，不允许他随便接到球，完了注意他反跑，要上身体。现在邵婷和杨李维做的最好的，你稍微晚点，你上不去。为什么换你？为什么换你俩？好，好。
Well, they're definitely shoes brought the intensity tonight. I mean, his team has gotten off to an electric start, 16-6 here in the Sri Kantarava Indoor Stadium in Bengaluru. Park Ji-hun, meanwhile, is looking to make her mark. Well, she just comes in, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. She doesn't have the best shooting percentage, only shooting 25% before the game from outside, but she seems to have the timing perfectly. She seems to hit big shots exactly when Korea need her to.
So Korea in a 2-3 to see how they can take anything away here. Hangju passes out. Xiaoting, I don't think she necessarily likes it that far out. Hangju saves it in bounds over to Wang. Now Yang, good! Well, tonight it looks like it's Yang's turn to come out and pour in the points. He's got 11 already, and the game's only 5 minutes old.
Yeah, she shot really well this tournament, 43% from outside, and
it's a long two from Bay. Hangju catches it down low.
Good defense there from Kim Min-young, just making sure she bodied up on Hangju.
Tough shot, Kim. Here's Park. Picks up the mess. Nice touch pass. The quick pass from Gao Song to Han.
And it's a great way to break that 2-3 zone is by coming someone kind of across the baseline, then coming up to that high post like Gao Song did there. And yeah, wonderful play.
Park with a little turnaround. Yang, oh, look at that, catches it and just lays it up so gracefully.
Yeah, great opening quarter for Yang. 13 points chalked up to her name already. And from all over the floor as well, not just driving to the basket, not just shooting the ball.
Korea, you feel like they're on the ropes already. Han with the block. Up to Wang. Intercepted by Park. Here she comes. Park Ji-hun pulls it back out. And then takes the pass, a little give and go. Nice play by Bay. You know, Bay is not the point guard, but boy, she's pulling the strings.
Yeah, she really is, and she's got beautiful vision, and she's shown it all tournament. She really has. She's so important on the offensive end and defensive end for Korea. She battles on the defensive end and facilitates on the offensive end.
But China just are terrific offensively tonight. Doesn't matter what they put up, it seems like it's going in.
Yeah, 73% from the field. Just, it's almost free throw numbers that they're putting up.
Oh, what a dipsy-do from the young sensation from Korea, Park Ji-hun. Quite a few top 5 highlight possibilities tonight.
Well, it's definitely a tough one to pick today.
Wang for three. Oh, doesn't stay in, but oh. So it really hurts Korea if they give away the offensive rebounds, or if China takes the offensive rebounds, shall we say. Gao, this time short. So look at the passing of Bei yet again. Oh! She faked out Yang, who fell down.
If she'd made that shot, that would have been the highlight reel.
Having seen Yang go over, you
yeah,
mean?
breaking the ankles and then taking a jumper in her face. Yeah, I think that's worthy of her own highlight reel, at least.
Xiaoting has become almost iconic, hasn't she, with that spin? She's put us all in a spin.
And she really has, and she's not had, as we see, the drive to the basket. What a move. Such a young player to have such a heads-up smart play. But yeah, Xiaoting, you know, she's not had a highlight tournament, but she seems to do what the team need, and at the right time. You know, that game the other night, she just stepped up at the right moment, took the pressure on her shoulders and dealt with it perfectly.
You know what appliance she would sell if she wanted?
Oh dear, here we go, go on.
The washing machine, you know why?
Go on.
Because it has a spin cycle.
Okay, I got you.
Park misses.
I'm sure our agent is on the phone to all the manufacturers of washing machines now. You can voice over the commercial.
I'm happy to lend my voice if needed. Here's Lee. Usually starts games, Lee. Remember, Lee was the key in the win over New Zealand late in the first half, hitting back-to-back threes when New Zealand had been in charge. Korea's showing signs of getting back in the game here. I mean, they're only down 10. And interesting, the youngster Kim is in. He played very well the other night. And Gao Song called for the foul. And it's an interesting rotation that Zhu Lehman is running tonight.
I like it. I like putting Kim in. Like you said the other night, she earned herself more minutes. And in this game where they are undersized and it's going to hurt them.
Yeah, sure, her size will help.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see her guarding Han Zhu, you know, and bodying her up and keeping her away from the basket effectively. And if anything, I think the lesson has been learned from the pressure that Bei was put on the other night and the fouls that she picked up too early.
Liu, meanwhile, has come in, guarding Bei. Three-pointer's good from Koo Sul. Why don't you just put her two names together and we'll call her Cool, because that's what she is, under pressure. Back to a 17-point lead, excuse me, a 7-point lead for China. And that was taken early. It gives Korea a chance to get down. I don't think Zhu Lehman is going to be happy if Korea score here, and they almost did score with Bei. And despite scoring 25 points and despite being up by 7, I don't think the coach of China is going to be happy in between the quarters here. China lead at 25-18 at the end of 1.
So yeah, I completely agree with you, Jeff. I think China did a wonderful job to start. You know, they took out a 12-point lead at one point, but they've been pegged back in now to just 7. And there's your shooting percentages. One thing I found interesting was I didn't think that was a weak defensive quarter from anyone. There's a reasonable amount of points on the board. Only 2 fouls, but only 2 fouls to China, no fouls to Korea at all. And they were still playing quite good hustle defense. It shows that, you know, you can still play defense without committing those fouls, but China aren't going to be happy.
Well, it's interesting about the only thing that Korea have done well tonight is something that they haven't done much of. That's shoot 3-pointers. They're 2 of 3. China, meanwhile, 3 of 7 from 3-point range. And where China have been better than Korea and it helped them early on was grab offensive rebounds. 7 second chance points. So China have led by as many as 12 points in this game. Right now it's 7 points.
Yeah, you have a feeling China will, the players returning to the court won't be under any mistake of exactly what the coach is expecting. He's expecting the performance they had in the first 5 minutes of that first quarter, but probably for the next 35 minutes.
Yeah. But he's got some different faces out there. Guo and Lee and Liu from the starting 5. And I think Korea have kind of, you know, taken a few shots here early in terms like to the gut or whatever you want to call it. They've weathered the storm, so to speak, and now they're back in it. That's how it feels.
Yeah, it really does. It almost feels like we're starting afresh.
Here's Kusul. And she tried to force that one.
Yeah, Kim didn't help her. She should have cut in front of the defender. Cutting behind just means you're never going to get the pass.
And Lee was blocked by Bay, and Liu looks over and says, blow the whistle.
Yeah, that did look like a foul. It looked like a lot of arm was caught. I'm not sure this angle. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Huge amount of arm. Take her fingerprints off her arm with that one.
Yang, another 3, shows she's human. She had, before that, hit can't find it now. She hit a couple 3s. No, sorry, she has 3 3-pointers. Here's Lee. And again, China missing easy shots. Just inviting Korea back. Park Ji-hun to Bay, posting up the smaller Lee, and China know exactly what they're trying to do with getting the double teams and making the passes to the cutter. Lee Yoro, and that's tough to stop. You better get position in there on her or else she's going to eat you alive.
Yeah, once the shot's gone up, it's too late. You need to make sure she's not getting any space in the paint whatsoever. There needs to be a body on her, constantly pushing.
Turnover by Park Ji-hun. Shin Ji-hun also is going to come into the game. The Park Hae-jin comes out. And China now back with a 9-point advantage. 5 turnovers against Korea after that last one by Park Ji-hun. She puts up one from deep. Didn't see she in the last game against Australia. This time Kusul missed everything.
And puts her hand on her head in just disappointment of that shot. And she's not shot as well as she has in some of the previous games. She's come up short on a couple of shots now, not going her way. And Korea can't afford to squander possessions like that. They need to make sure they're getting high percentage shots in the right hands.
Sin called for the foul.
Smart move in the end by Guo there, just turning and drawing the foul.
Lee open, that's good. Showing the same form that she had against New Zealand.
Unbelievable shooting percentage, 83% from outside in this tournament. Very selective about the shots she takes.
And Sin called for a charge. So Lin does it on both ends of the floor. Takes one for the team.
Korea wisely keep rotating.
I think you're right. I don't think we're going to see Kang tonight.
It just doesn't feel that way. You think she'd have been in the game by now if we were going to see her.
And the pass to Lee goes out of bounds.
And that's exactly what Kim is bringing Korea in that low post. You know, she's probably the only one that can match up strength-wise against Lee, and I think it's a smart move to bring in the rotation early and see what impact she can have in this game, because she certainly had an impact in their last game.
Park back into the game. Park Hae-jin. Kim. Kind of a moving pick. Now Lee, her pass intercepted. Just the ref ruled she didn't have possession there because she had it on the Korean side of the court, then went into the back court. Here she is taking the jumper. She had the look of, all right, it's time for me to get involved there.
Yeah, she seems to look like she wanted to take some more responsibility. Just 4 points for her so far, and we're expecting more.
Good defense from the young Kim. And so much nice steal by Liu. So Kim, I can't remember which game, checked in late and committed. Was it against Japan? I think it was Japan.
Yeah, it was.
Checked in late, first appearance in the tournament, and fouled out after just like 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes, 5 fouls. It's not bad, get more fouls than you have minutes, but she certainly made up for that in yesterday's game. Put in a big performance for them in yesterday's game, had 12 points.
Lee gets it to Lee. And now Sin brings it across midcourt. Bounce pass. And what a finish. What a tough finish from Kim Mong-kyu. Korea doing a good job. It feels like maybe just a little intensity is missing from China that we saw early in the game.
Yeah, they're not playing with, they're certainly not playing with the same intensity they started the game, and that's going to be frustrating because, again, this is one of those games where you feel, for China, if they could have got out to a 20-30 point lead in the first half, it would have almost broken the spirit of Korea, and would they have had enough psychologically to come back in and mount a comeback? Potentially not. But as long as Korea can stay within that 10-point mark around there, then they're going to feel that they've got a chance all the way to the final buzzer.
Here sitting back in a 2-3 zone, see if they can take care of business. And Bae back in. And Kim, and I think that's a costly foul for Kim because you're right, her size can be a huge asset in this game.
Yeah, she's only been in the game 5.5 minutes and 2 fouls already to her name. She needs to take a leaf out of Bae's book and control the fouls.
Well, she gets sealed that time by Lee. I don't know how Liu missed it so badly. She gets it back and misses again. She's had a bad night. She seems a bit off color. Park goes in with the left hand. And she's got the bit between the teeth.
Yeah, she's certainly stepped up in the last few minutes, and just perfection on how she angled that ball off the glass. It had to be the perfect angle to beat the defender.
Here's Lee again missing and fouled, so she will get at least a couple of free throws. I really think she's one of the most talented players, but she just looks off color tonight.
Yeah, she hasn't found a form tonight, but like you say, she's definitely stepped up and producing big performances in this tournament, really taking on that veteran role and leadership role. But yeah, it's not been her game so far.
I know that or at least one other player, like for New Zealand, was suffering a little bit from gastroenteritis.
Oh, really?
And you never know what might be, what's going on with these players. I mean, you're playing a lot of games in a short period of time. Maybe fatigue sets in.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of pressure on the body.
Especially if you've got gastroenteritis.
Wow, I can't think of anything worse, trying to play basketball with that.
Park, again, that's too long. And beautiful finish by Sin, and the confidence growing for Korea. And it just seems to be their self-belief is sky high, as high as at any point in this tournament right now. China have lost the initiative. Yang comes back and hits a three. Kind of bails them out.
Unbelievable. Yang up to 16 points now, and she's just absolutely on fire. She seems to be one Chinese player who was completely come to play and dominating this game, and you know, she was primarily the reason they had such a hot start.
China did not look tired at the beginning of the game, but they do look a little tired now, and they didn't even play yesterday.
Yeah, you wonder how that rest day is going to play out, whether it is a benefit or not, you know, especially after a hype win that they had against Australia. You almost want to carry that with you. You don't want to stop. You want to keep building on that.
They did look good early, though. They didn't look tired. Here's Wang coming up with a steal. Wang open for three. Hanju hands it off. Much better for China. Gao kind of unmolested there in the paint, and now the lead goes back to 9.
And really unselfish, you know. You had Yang handing it off, Hanju handing it off, and they both had open shots and probably had a right to shoot the ball, but they knew they'd get a better shot.
That was Sin missing from the corner. Gao kept it out of the lane by Kim. Now Hangzhou fouled by Kim Mongchu.
Yeah, and it's difficult because they're running this 2-3 zone, and obviously ideally you want 3 post players on that back line, and at the moment they're leaning on Kim Min-young to be that third post player, and she's more a perimeter player. She doesn't really want to be playing post defense.
What's interesting is we haven't seen Jin An yet either. Kind of a spark from the bench normally for Korea, so I don't know what's going on there, but we've got timeout on the court.
여기 있는데 여기서 이렇게 뭘 기다리 여기서 그래. 빨라서 잡아주고 그다음에 연결해야지. 그리고 봐봐. 이 사람이 여기서 공격을 이렇게 하고 있으면 이렇게 들어가 있으면 뭐 하냐 말이야 이게. 무슨 얘기인지 알겠어? 어? 打空联防的一条。 打空联一条，5号位、3号位、4号位，1号位要在这儿，看到没有？发球，哎，5号往里推，3号往这推，这4号不要等球，往下顺着嘛，赢球。完了，1号过来接一下。发球那人，我发球人一定要上肩，可以吊球，明白？可以往远传，知道吗？这个都接不着了，1号突然把这摆脱，知道吗？然后大家注意，这个没有了，没有马上就接个突破了，完了接个篮下强攻内外，那个现在关键就是防守反击。你看这段好，还是因为防守反击。 不是因为别的，他们这个组防守比你们其他人在场上防守好，就现在这几个人啊，所以你们现在再怎么输我不怪，怪你们，同意也不怪，但是你们必须要尽力进行防守，大家走，走，就是这个防守变化，这个防守变化。
And again, for me, one of the interesting takeouts from this first half has been the rotations. Korea at the moment have only run a 7-player rotation. You know, they've got 5 guys that haven't seen any court action, and you look on the contrast side of that. Every single Chinese player has seen the floor. I think that's a real advantage for China. 1, just the energy side of things, and 2, players aren't going to have to come into, you know, critical phases of the game cold.
But I mean, we pretty much know, I think, that Kong is injured and can't play, so she's already a player that eats up about 22 minutes a game, 25 minutes.
But the likes
also
of Yoon
Jin
and Yoon.
And Yoon as well, yeah. So we don't know what the deal is with Yoon. She's been starting games.
Yeah, she has. She has.
But maybe she's going to come into the game as a real burst.
Yeah, she scored 10 points yesterday, got 7 assists. So seeing, you know, maybe again another injury concern for Korea, that would really make it what was an uphill struggle, almost an up mountain struggle.
That was a deep one. Look at Kim get in there for the rebound. Sin's going to inbound the ball. Kim gives it back to Sin. Look at that. How often do we see the inbounder get it back?
And I love it. I love it. It's such a simple play to run, but it's so effective because so many teams just don't pick up the inbound.
Good denial by Kim. Maybe Coach Moon-Kyu knows his team quite well. Certainly Kim, a vital component in this game. Here she is rolling to the basket. Good cut off by Yang. And then explodes up, gets it back to Xiaoting. Hongju, that's her game right there. She would much rather shoot the short to mid-range jump shot than she would go up for a strong move inside.
Yeah, that soft short game that she's got is really impressive. Really impressive. It's such a tough skill when you're oversized like she is to have the deft touch around the ring like that.
Look at China again, a chance to grow the lead. It's at 10 right now. The Park with the interception over to Sin. She tries to take on Wang. Kim comes in and gets the rebound. Oh, the nice dump to Bay. So smart.
Wonderful vision from Kim. That really was. The handoff would have been the obvious play, but she didn't. She pivoted and looked, and Bay had locked the defender out. So wonderful pass from Kim. The issue I have with Kim is she's used to playing 5-6 minutes, and is she going to have to play 35, and is she ready to?
Oh, wow. That was pretty unstoppable there. Full extension. We saw Hongju get on the break the other night, didn't we? We thought she was going to dunk it. Oh, she gets the swat. Now Park misses.
And what a nasty sound from that swat as well. She didn't need to say anything. She let the slap of leather.
Watch this.
Say everything you need. Oh! Return to sender on that one. And almost the same sound as if she just slapped her around the face and said no.
Here she is posting up. And they're tied up. Possession error for China.
I think it's important here for Korea to get a stop, and not just get the stop, but box out and get a defensive rebound so they could get the last possession of this quarter.
Yao to Han, that's her game.
Kim needs to be careful. You can't chase out a shoot and clap in their face. She'll get a technical foul pretty quickly. I'm surprised she didn't actually get one for that.
Sin tried to go past Wang. That's never a good idea. And right at the end, well, it was a good spell of play for Korea. They were right there, down, I think, 7. But Hongju and that soft touch helps put China back on top, 43-31.
So yeah, there's your shooting percentages in the first half. 5 from 12 from outside for China is pretty impressive. Whilst 2 from 9 is nothing to write home about for Korea. And really, that's probably part of the difference between the two teams. Reasonably even elsewhere. China just winning the rebounding battle, 20-15. But Korea have definitely got some fight in them. They're not going to roll over and give up on this one, but they do need to look after the ball better. 10 turnovers in the first half is going to be disappointment for Coach Lee Mon-kyu, but an exciting 20 minutes to come for us as Korea looked like they might have been dead and buried by halftime early on, but they've absolutely battled. They've not given up, and they've found ways to score against China.
Well, it's China on top, 43-31. As you look at the halftime highlights here, or nip off to La Cocina for a cold drink or a hot one, to the kitchen. We will take a break, and we'll be right back before the start of the second half.
Anthems who makes the shot. Nice little touch pass back by Nicholson. Here's Nabala. Almost like she's a secret weapon. Again. Wow! She is a rising star, folks.
Slightly higher than the...
Cavendish just went right past Bandavia, but what a play by Nixon, who's playing inspired basketball. Boy, Nixon has been unrecognizable today. So Davidson, Crichton in now for New Zealand. And look at that, great decision by the experienced Bay. Goes in with the left-handed layup, and right now they're going for the jugular. You can see it.
Philippines now, I'm running into your colors on hands.
Look at the move.
Tired.
Oh, beautiful play, Lamai. Put that on a highlight reel.
Korea trail 43-31 against China here in the semifinals of the FIBA Women's Asia Cup. Park Ji-hun, the youngster, has come out and scored 6 points, but Korea are shorthanded tonight. We think that they aren't going to be able to play Kang because of the injury that she picked up last night.
Yeah. All the days just blend into one, right?
And now we're wondering if a couple of other players are just
potentially Yoon and
as
Jin.
well. So but that said, they've done a good job keeping it. It was within single digits, and then they just couldn't keep Hongju from scoring those soft jump shots at the end. Hongju, as well as Yang, had that electric start with I think it was 13 points in the first quarter. Anyway, she's got 16 now. China lead at 43-31, and look favorites to advance to play Japan in the title game. But it could be, some major slip-up happened. They would go up against Australia again.
Now, the thing I have with Korea is, like I say, it was always going to be a difficult task, and now with these injuries, it makes it, really, really difficult for Korea. But that's not put them off at all. They had a slow start, but they fought back into this game, and for me now, it's just a battle of fatigue.
Yeah.
Can Korea keep these 5 players that they've really lent on heavily? In fact, 7 players that they've lent on in this game. Can those 7 players play probably 50% more minutes than they've played all tournament? That's the big question. If they can, then Korea have got a chance of causing what will probably be one of the biggest upsets of recent Asia Cup history by beating China, because China aren't looking deadly. They're not looking clinical tonight.
No, they're not, and you do have to tip your hat to Korea. I mean, it's been arguably their best performance. It's odd to say that, isn't it? They're down 12, but we've actually seen Park come out and look good tonight. I don't know, maybe they've been touched by the wand of the fairy godmother. You never know. I love seeing these kids come to these games. I mean, look at them. They're like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They can't believe they're here having a good time, representing their country, seeing themselves on the big screen. They can go back and tell everybody.
It's been great to see. We've seen obviously the crowds increase, and it seems like it's a China crowd tonight.
이렇게 서 이제 시간을 끌면서 하는 거야. 알았어? 봐. 이렇게 치면 태훈아 올라와. 볼 잡아서 올라와서 슛찬스로 쏘는 거야. 달려들면 끌고 들어가. 그런데 봐. 얘 볼을 주면 이 사람 일로 스피너로 배워.
Okay, the look at determination here for China, but again, it is at the back end of the tournament. A lot of these players have been away from home. They've been playing a lot of games, and they are within touching distance of the final, so they've got all the incentive to come out here and play hard. Can Korea summon something special and pull off a memorable come from behind win against China, or are China going to march into the final to face one of their other traditional Asian rivals, Japan? Second half underway here in Bengaluru, and it is Korea with possession first. Song rebounds the miss from Koo Sul. See if Yang can pick up where she left off. Puts it on the deck, passes to Gao Song. And 3 seconds. Gives it back to Korea. that one up against Gao. Wang gets inside.
Shows some of the form that she showed in their last game. Really so important Wang was in that last game against Australia. Not just the final play where she stripped it away and stopped Australia from scoring the go-ahead basket, but just throughout the game, she seemed to step up at exactly the right moments.
Bounce pass. Team reached in. Thought she was going to get that one.
I like the pick and roll action on the side though with Kim. Kim's certainly shown that she's come to play. No points to her name yet, but plenty of hustle, and she's worked hard, and she's yeah, been an important part of what they've done here today, and definitely made up for that first game when she fouled out in less than 5 minutes.
Bay gets it into a decent position, but again, misses. Now the dump to Lee. And the lead grows to 14 points. Bay thinks she can post up. She's got Yang. Who gets swatted by Lee.
And that's the problem you've got. You beat that first defender, and you've either got Han Jiu or, in that case, Lee standing there waiting to protect the rim.
They're swats with like full hand on ball.
Yeah, it's not fingertip swats, that's for sure.
So Korea call timeout. Seeing their deficit grow to now 14 points.
지금 와서 패스 게임 이렇게 알았지? 어? 패스 주고 스크린하고 얘 컬해. 이거 보면서 공격적으로 하면서 어? 찬스 나면 주고 그다음에 나오면 이 사람 빨리 나와야지. 이쪽으로 갔잖아, 그지? 빨리 주면 또 여기서 이쪽으로 빨리 연결해야지. 알지?
Lots of Chinese flags around right now. There were Japanese flags for the previous game for their win over Australia.
The media attention certainly has grown as well as we've entered the semi-finals. There seems to be a lot more media looking to cover the games as we get to the crunch, because obviously all these teams could eventually stand on top of that podium, and for all 4 countries that have entered these semi-finals, that would be huge news for them.
Definitely, it's the Chinese and the Japanese journalists that have piled into Bengaluru. Gao, who with the rebound hands it off to Sin. Sin gets it over to Ku. She's, wow, her shot, I don't know if it was deflected or what. It fell right to Kim, but then she had it taken away. Oh, nice play by Lee. Somehow doesn't score, but draws the foul.
Yeah, first play was even better with that soft touch, that pass, interior pass that she gave that couldn't be converted. But she's rewarded with a trip to the line. It's that pass that I love, just unselfish. She knows she's being double teamed, even though she has the height advantage and the strength advantage over both those players. She's still eyes open, ready to pass to a teammate. double-double in the tournament, 10.3 points, 11 rebounds per game.
Well, you know, you remember 2 years ago, she was the dominant player for China. And it took her a while to get going in this one.
Yeah, it did. It did. You'd have thought she'd have picked up where she left off. You know, she was second in the entire tournament last time in points and rebounds, but she's starting to warm up. And if she does make it through to the final, I'm really looking forward to see how Japan approach stopping her.
It really looks like Korea is starting to run on fumes here. They've had a really bad start to the third quarter. Now dumps it again to Lee. He gets it to Yang, but misses everything. But Lee, it was such a bad miss by Yang that Lee, who was on the wrong side of the player boxing her out, was able to get the ball. Look at that.
And that's Kim's third foul as well. And with all the injury issues that Korea have got, they really don't need Kim fouling out, as we're going to see Jin come into the game for the first time.
So
we thought she was injured.
Interesting. Well, we were wondering why she wasn't playing, because we didn't have anything on our injury report.
And she hasn't seen any action until now. And she's not had a bad tournament. She's played reasonably well throughout.
And this is the first. So earlier today, New Zealand winning against Chinese Taipei in the battle for 5th place. And of course, the showpiece game was Japan-Australia. Australia jumped out to an early lead, but Japan stormed back to lead at halftime and ended up pulling away for a pretty decisive victory, 12-point win. Now Lee makes 2 free throws, and China's lead grows with 17 points.
Yeah, and you really feel here in this game that it's for Korea to change something up now. They need to alter something, because China are almost slipping into cruise control.
Good soul. Liu goes up and misses, but look at that. Lee is just a problem. They can't stop her. Even on her misses, she gets it back. There she gets denied. Yang outside the Wang is so disheartening for Korea. They're really struggling to contain the bigs now. And even Wang is able to knock it away and keep it for China. And gosh knows, and again, 6 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, a fair few in the last 30 seconds, but like you say, she's almost impossible to keep away from the glass at the moment, is Lee, and they just need to work hard. I'd almost isolate out on her and just have a player, the likes of Jin or someone like that, just pushing and shoving and really being physical with her, within obviously the rules of the game, but trying their hardest to get away from the basket.
19 points, the lead, Bay. Well, good scoring position, but kind of flung the ball up there like we've seen a couple players do here, as opposed to lay it up.
And you have to bear in mind, she hasn't been out of the game yet. She's played every second of this game.
Liu looks to be getting back to better health here. He hits a soft jumper.
She's not played just every second. She's played every second having to guard the likes of Lee and Han Zhu as well, which is just, you know, doubles the amount of work rate she's having to put in.
Bay. Wow, no, that was a quality finish with Liu there, bearing down on her. And she bends over, puts her hands on her knees. She is exhausted in the middle of that 2-3 zone. Wang brings a little bit of rain for China.
And for me in this quarter now, when you have a situation like Korea have, you know, as a coach, you almost start thinking about your timeouts as rests rather than tactical timeouts. So you might see him call a timeout. Wouldn't be surprised if you saw one soon, just to give his guys that haven't had a chance to take a breather just, you know, a couple of minutes out of the game.
Now Jin hasn't knocked out her hands. 1-2 wanted a foul. And Gao is excuse me, Xiao Ting goes in for the layup, and the Korea coach is fuming. You can see him over there. He was glaring at the referee.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Lee Mon-kyu, I'm calling a timeout now just to give my team a rest. They're looking like they're running on fumes at the moment. They need just to have a stop and a bit of a reset.
Foul, 3 seconds. They look like they could use a breather, that's for sure.
And Bei looked, as we see a replay of the jumper for China, Bei looked longingly at his coach, hoping it was her that was going to get a bit of a breather. But no luck, I'm afraid. You're going to have to stay on the floor a bit longer and battle a bit more.
Well, she's the real leader of this team.
Oh, massively. She's really taken that mantle.
She does a good job of getting close to the rim. Now Lee comes in. Oh, a little bit of razzle-dazzle over the shoulder pass.
Yeah, China are very close to securing this, but I wouldn't be showboating quite this early.
Well, they've got quite a few fans here, so I think they do want to put on a show. Sim drives in and draws the foul from Wu.
This is the way back into it for Korea. They need to go at China as best they can. Yes, they've got rim protector on the floor the whole time. Probably two of the best rim protectors in the entire tournament, both on the Chinese squad, but still take it to them.
For some reason, Zhu Liman didn't put in Wu Tongtong until this moment in the game. Well, they have struggled for points, Korea. They had 2 points in the quarter.
Yeah, and they've struggled all tournament as well. They've only averaged 66 points in the tournament. Obviously, it started off with a low-scoring game. They only scored 48 to beat Chinese Taipei, so they kind of set their stall out there.
Hongju to Liu. Seems like it doesn't matter if they miss because they're going to get it back.
If I'm Korea, I am asking the officials, though. Hongju, I just counted them, was in the paint for 7 seconds without establishing herself outside. That's the question I'm asking. Fine, they've got a height advantage, but they don't need to be able to camp in the paint and not get called for it.
Park Ji-hun over to Bei. And the ball goes off Wu. Bei can barely stand up. She is exhausted.
She is, yeah. Oh, they're going to give her a break eventually.
That's, she's coming out.
Yeah.
She really was at the point where she had to come out.
Yeah, she was.
Jin also comes back out, replaced by Kim.
Because once you get to that situation, one or two things is going to happen. You're just going to foul a lot, or you're going to end up hurting yourself because you're not controlled.
Oh, nice inbounds pass, and then Hu Sul just missed the easiest of layups. The open. Park Ji-hun passes ahead. Sim, gosh knows. It's uncomfortable watching right now, Korea.
Yeah, it is.
This game has descended into a little bit of, like nobody can do anything. Hongju.
If you wonder what the commotion is while you're listening to us, we seem to be getting attacked by the same moth every couple of minutes. So sorry if we get distracted.
Is going down the next time it comes over here. I'm gonna put my headset down and go get it, swat it. Where is it? There it is.
Not in Jeff's house. It's all building to an interesting day tomorrow, though. Australia, they certainly won't want to leave without any medal. And if they do take on Korea, if the injured Koreans aren't back in the game, it's going to be another really tough game for them. But if China do make it to the final, that's an absolute lip-licking final, that one. It's, you know, really tough to call who's going to win.
This game in stark contrast in terms of the intensity to the previous game between Japan and Australia. Park Ji-hoon. Nice fake, bounce pass. Lee with burst of speed.
She found the ref spotting up in the corner.
I think Zhu Liman might be a little bit upset at Lee Wang. What's this? I think she is trying to showboat just a tad.
Yeah, I'm not sure the ref was ready for the corner three.
Still just, I think, 2 points here for Korea in the quarter. And Hangzhou hustles down. Boy, we were saying how this, in many ways, have been Korea's best performance of this tournament, but really has turned into their most exhaustive performance.
Yeah, and it's just shown. You know, China obviously had the day off yesterday. Korea didn't. Korea have obviously got injury issues to deal with. They're running their roster really shallow today, and yeah, the gas tank is getting close to empty for Korea at the moment.
그냥 맞고, 그리고 혜연이, 그 다음 사람 키 큰 사람 네가 맞춰, 그렇지? 그다음에 혜진이 나와.
I can't get over how Xi seems to be like distributing the towels. Look at that.
들어와서 공격을 하는데.
You've seen it in a lot of teams. Some of the players have been cleaning the coach's whiteboard, and you know, a real team ethos in some of these teams.
여기서 자꾸 까짝까짝 이러고 있잖아 지금.
I'm not too sure why they'd call a timeout with 33 seconds left in the third quarter, but I'm sure there's a reason behind it.
Hangzhou in the center of the photo, but Yang still China's leading scorer.
And you have a feeling that Lee Yuan had a bit of a dressing down in that timeout, maybe just before they came into the huddle from the coach, because I don't think he, like you said, he's overly happy with how much razzmatazz she's trying to insert into the game this early on. I think he wants to 100% make sure the job's done.
Do you think that he scolded her?
Yeah, I think potentially, yeah. That's probably the right word for it. Just by her body language, you can see she's had a bit of a dressing down by how she's standing on the floor at the moment. But
it might be 29 points up.
No rest for Bay, though. She's back on the floor as well. What did she have? It must be a minute and a half at least to sit down and gather her thoughts.
Gosh knows. Conditioning so important, but for whatever reason, Korea's just beat. Shin, bounce pass, right idea, goes off of China and out of bounds. He just is sizing it up and just, I think he's pulled all of his punches, hasn't he? He's just like, he's played all of his cards.
Yeah.
Ball goes in and out. Now Guo to Hangzhou with the alley-oop. Hey, now even Zhu Liman is like, he even gave the thumbs up.
Wow. That's, yeah, very happy with it. Very happy indeed. High fives for all his players at the end of that quarter, but you get a feeling he's close to letting them have their bit of fun on the court now.
Well, I guess it was at the end of the quarter, so again, a mixture of Korea being completely out of it now, physically, it seems, running on fumes, and China already having a big lead. They've extended it to 63-33 at the end of 3.
Here are your shooting percentages from the game, and it's pretty reading for China. 6 from 15 from outside. Only 50% from the line, though, but Korea's one hope might have been to start firing it up from outside, and that hasn't happened. 2 from 12, 17% from the perimeter for them, and you're just seeing a punch-drunk Korea at the moment, just trying to stay in this game and, yeah, just keep it as physical as they can. Whereas for China, 3 players in double digits already. Yang leading the way, and Hangzhou behind, 16 and 15 respectively for those two. And that was the back-breaking quarter for Korea. They only scored 2 points. Again, I think pretty sure that's the lowest total in this Asia Cup, and maybe many Asia Cups for a quarter total. So 20-2, China won that quarter, and pretty close to now putting this semi-final beyond doubt and getting their date with destiny, or as others call them, Japan.
Well, it's not a pretty picture for Korea. They'll have to rally and get ready tomorrow. If they don't turn things around here pretty quickly, this thing will be done and dusted, and you feel like, in many respects, it already is. Trailing by 30 points.
Yeah, it is, and obviously it won't be long before their minds start turning to tomorrow's games for both these teams. We're not just talking about the final for China, but we're also talking about the bronze medal game. And Korea will need to turn their attentions to just the easy game against Australia tomorrow for them if they want to take the bronze medal.
Giving some minutes here again, number 16. Shot blocked by Han. Guo is out of bounds. Saw China come here early, especially Coach Zhu Lehman, to watch some of this other semifinal to see what they would be up against. Yep, that was a good call. Park gets it to Kim, and she's fouled as well, so they have a chance to surpass their third quarter haul here.
They do in the first 44 seconds.
44 seconds, yes.
That's her first score of the game, though, but she's done some good stuff, you know. Bar the 3 personal fouls that she's picked up, 3 assists, 2 rebounds to her name. It's only her first shot attempt as well, so she's 100% from the field, and she's grown in the tournament. And then the youngster, just 23 years old, plenty for her to learn about the game, and she's definitely warranted more minutes. I think they've been thrust upon her due to injury, but I think she earned them in the last game.
Wu gets it over to Guo. Sim now crosses midcourt. Park does seem to have a burst of energy from somewhere. Kim was so busy trying to get position that she couldn't catch the ball. Here's the moth that's back. I'm going to get it. Get it.
And I do like how Korea just aren't giving up and rolling over. They're literally giving everything they've got to continue to play this game, even though pretty much it's a lost cause right now. They must be exhausted. The majority of them have played big minutes, but they're continuing to try everything they've got to get some points on the board, because that's their biggest issue.
Looks like Park might have gotten injured there. He was wincing. He puts it high off the glass. Ball goes out of bounds to Korea, nearly 2 minutes into the fourth quarter.
Oh, it's okay, Korea, you can rest now. Yang's coming back in. Oh no, wait a minute. Yang scored 16 points in no time at all in the first quarter. It just doesn't get easier as China rotate.
Actually, she's coming in.
And bringing more.
She's coming in with Wang.
More and more talent.
So it's Shi, Wang, Minglin, Qing Minglin, Hangzhou, and Guo. And they just, Korea really just do not look like scoring, do they?
No, they don't. The thing is, it's tough to say because they're doing everything they can. They're running their offenses. They've still got their structure. They've obviously still following the game plan they had before the game, but they're now doing it with such less energy than they started the game with.
Blow from deep. That's good. And she can hit it. She's had some good moments in this tournament.
Yeah, she actually had a big game day, 19 points against the Philippines. It'll be interesting to see if we see some of the bigger names for China come back into this game. Is Xiaoting going to see any more minutes tonight or not?
Whenever I say no, they usually do, so I'll say yes. I expect her to come
keep
back.
her on the bench.
Gao's going to come back in. Gao Song.
I think they might keep Lee out as well. She's put a shift in tonight.
Kim Monchu gives it back over to Bay. She fakes the handoff, goes in. That was a quality move from Bay. Now Wang. Chen Mingling finds Guo down low, but she doesn't get it to go. Ball goes out of bounds. Back over to Korea.
And there's the little hesitation and the change of pace and direction. Gets Bay to the basket. Pretty easy two off the glass, and look how tired she is. Almost falling asleep on her feet. She's put so much in to today's game. She's played 32 minutes out of the 34 that we've played.
She got in the way of Kim. Now Yang is coming in. For Wang.
And that's probably the biggest challenge now for coach Xu Liming. What's his rotation? Who's going to give a few more minutes to? Is it worth keeping some of his star players motoring, so giving them a few more minutes just to keep their eye in, or just keep them on the side rested now?
Hey, oh, had it blocked by Chen Mingling.
Rotational issues not really something that Lee Mon-kyu has at the moment.
No, Lee Mon-kyu is just kind of looking to get to the finish line. Oh, nice feed to Kim. Finally, something looked good for Korea.
Korea have scored 7, just the same as China in this final quarter.
All right. That's right, yeah.
No, 9 in the second half. Don't undermine them.
Chen Mingling. Not quite sure where Chen Mingling fits into this China team.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
It just seems a bit odd. She got into the starting lineup against Australia.
Didn't play well, though, got rotated out pretty quickly. But that was off the back of, obviously,
A decent performance.
Yeah. She had a good game the night before, 21 points, 3 assists against the Philippines. Obviously a lesser opponent, but you still have to score them.
Oh, there you go. There's the nice move by Shi.
You think Xiaoting takes like sections within the Chinese training just on spinning?
I think that's, I think Xiaoting says, I'm sorry, but I've patented that move.
Every time they do it, they've got to pay her a premium. Some royalty fee for the Xiaoting spin.
Well, in Europe, you got the Euro step. In Asia, you got the Xiaoting spin. So timeout on the floor with 4:43 remaining, and China up 32 points.
여기 이렇게 쓰고, 혜진이가 쉬고, 여기가 볼 가지고 있고, 구슬이 이쪽에 있어. 오케이? 그다음에 혜원이가 여기 있어. 이렇게 계속해. 아무 쪽이라도 상관없어. 맨 처음에 일루 가서 이렇게 해. 일루 가서 서. 그럼 드리블 치고 있지.
所以大家这种轮转这样就联防，4个小时是没问题完最后篮板球，打速度就是不用停下来，就是跟对人吧，就外内连续打，传递，接着进攻。中国！
And you've seen, yeah, some highlight plays from China in the first 35 and a bit minutes. And Zhu, once again, shows why she's one of the dominant bigs in this tournament. 17 points, she's up to 5 rebounds, 8 from 14 from the field.
I think she's still got to start. She's got to be able to finish around the rim better.
Yeah.
I mean, she's nowhere near the finished product for me. And she's got to make those shots in the paint close to the basket.
Yeah, and it's sometimes difficult because you're expected to explode or be as strong and powerful when you go to the basket, and then once you've broken through, you're expected to have this really dainty, soft touch. It's almost, counterintuitive for what you're trying to achieve. But yeah, only 19 years old, plenty of hours in the gym ahead of her to hone her skills.
Bounce pass to Kim. Clock winding down. Nice pass to Kim. Good finish for number 15. Now, a rare break here for Korea. 10 pulls up, though. Misses it badly, but Bay there to clean up the mess.
That could almost be the tagline for Bay in the Korean team. Bay there to clean up the mess. That's what she's done all week. Just wonderful, wonderful leader for that Korean team.
She again for 3. So her first 3, but China have hit a lot tonight, including Yang. Pass ended up in the corner for 3-point attempt. Now, Sim gets it back to Kim. Now into Bay. Beautiful handoff by Bay. Bay always, you know what? They might be getting tanned right now, but she still makes the right play, doesn't she?
Just the way she plays the game, I couldn't tell you whether they're up by 30 or down by 30. She just keeps doing the right things at the right time. And it was a wonderful finish by Kim there. Really deft touch, because it wasn't easy. She was fading sideways and still used the glass. Smart play from her.
She again from deep, this time off the iron. Follows up the miss, gets it in. China go to 78, back up to 32 points, the lead. Oh, nice play. Where did that come from?
Oh, that's a Hakeem move, right? That's a dream move. A couple of pivots. I was expecting her to duck under and come back, and a wonderful post move. Not what you'd expect at all from a point guard.
Oh, good play by Kim to take it away from Gao. Another 3-on-2 break. Bay passes back outside to Kim. It pulls up.
Just Bay's exhausted. You can see her shoulders just dropped on that miss.
Yang gets in. Kim battles. Gao has it. Whoa, now has a go.
Yeah, Bay's going to have ended up playing 38 minutes out of the 40 tonight. And I imagine she's going to have to do the same again tomorrow in the bronze medal match as well.
Look at that, holding the shirts. So the ref had seen that, that would have been unsportsmanlike. I'm guessing. Anyway, China called timeout with 1:21 to go. So I guess Julian wants to use this as a practice moment.
So he got something that he wants to draw up and execute in the final seconds of this one.
Seems to have moved away from our boom mic. I think that was by design. He didn't want anybody listening in on this.
Potentially, we have a very adventurous boom operator there, though. He's probably risking life and limb.
He's not taking no for an answer.
Definitely not.
오케이? 그럼 일로 가지. 그때 여기 스크린하고 여기 와서 너 길게 가, 길게. 그리고 이렇게 가지. 이 사람 쫓아오는 사람 있나 봐봐. 여기 올라오라고. 여기다 줘. 어? 무슨 얘기인지 알겠지? 어? 성경이 알았어?
Still drawing up plays. Down 30 points here with 1:21 remaining. Do you think there's ever a time when a coach switches off as you see the spin move there? That was the nice...
Yeah, for me, I think it's one of the coaches I've known, and I've known many. Some good, some bad. I won't tell you which is which. But the good ones don't seem to be able to. They just constantly want to be around basketball, want to change things, want to, you know...
They're drawing up plays when they're eating breakfast.
Yeah, absolutely. Using the Cheerios.
Can we just stop now? Nice play by Sim, the jumper.
Yeah, the good ones don't stop. That's what makes them good, I suppose. A bit like you and me with commentating. Everywhere we go, we commentate.
Yeah, you're right. Show up in the restaurant. There's a nice move from Wu. Okay, we'll have a... hello, everybody. We'll have whatever you're serving tonight. Thank you for having us here.
Wonderful delivery from the waiter. Getting a good tip tonight.
Sim bumped by Lee. So 40 seconds remaining, and Korea are going to have to face the juggernaut of Australia that is like the wounded... Would you say wounded lion, wounded boomer?
Yeah, wounded boomer, yeah. I'd say so.
Having lost twice in this competition.
I don't think they were expecting that before they got here. I don't think they're expecting to have 2 losses. You know, and they certainly don't want 3.
I mean, it would be unthinkable for them not to win that game.
And the other thing they must be looking at as well is the ranking point situation. Could they lose top spot in the Asia zone?
I don't think so.
Even if they finish 4th and Japan go top?
Well, it just depends.
I don't know the algorithm.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not exactly sure. I think Japan's too far down.
Certainly close the gap, though. Easy call for the officials on that one. Sim with the obvious foul.
Ooh, misses, and that is how it's going to finish. Well, to answer your question, Australia are 3rd overall in the world, and then China and Japan are down a ways. They're 3rd in Asia. But anyway, the final score: China win it 80-52 over Korea to advance to the final of the Fiba Women's Asia Cup to face Japan.
China certainly had a wonderful game today, and quite a few Chinese fans in the crowd. You imagine there'll be even more tomorrow for the final. And Korea, I think really you chalk that one, a huge amount of that one, down to fatigue. Looks like they have injury issues, and they're having to run some of their stars a little bit longer than they normally would. And you can kind of tell it, because although China got off to a good start in that first quarter, Korea pegged them back. They were only down by 7 at the end of the first, but it was really that third quarter that killed Korea off. They only scored 2 points, China pouring in 20. And the impressive Chinese basketball roadshow continues.
Well, they took a bow in front of us. They didn't have to do that, but we appreciate it. So China, yeah, I mean, going back to your point about Australia, they're the #1 ranked team in Asia with 597 points. China are the #2 ranked team with 285, and Japan are third with 184. So I would say it's unlikely.
I have no idea how many points you get for winning an Asia Cup.
So those are the numbers. Read into it what you will. China started strong. They established a big lead, and then when the third quarter started, it was all China. Korea literally were like a car on the motorway that just ran out of fuel. And
yeah,
there was not a gas station.
No, for a long way.
A long way down the road.
Yeah.
Out in the desert.
That was a long night for Korea and their fans. But Bae put in a good performance again. Again and again. She seems to do it every night. 10 points, 4 assists for her.
But I think Yang was probably the player of the game for China because she really got him going in the first half and established the big lead. So really it comes down to now as you look at, again, the top scores, what does China have left in the tank for Japan? But you would say the same thing. What does Japan have in the tank? You know, both teams have played the same amount of games here.
Yeah. Japan will be great for one that their game earlier didn't go to overtime. That's a big, you know, because that potentially could have done. And they finished it reasonably early. You know, that could have been one that was being played at 100% for the entire game, but it wasn't. They managed to take a little bit of time out of the back end because they've got their lead. But I'm at the moment, I say Japan are slight favourites, just for the sheer beauty of how they're playing the game and the fluidity of both offense and defense.
I think they are the favorites, but we don't know because China beat them last year at the World Cup in Tenerife.
And this is the whole thing. You know, you can kind of tear it up and throw it out because potentially after the first couple of games, we might have said Australia were favourites. They had a huge 2 first games and then they came unstuck against China in the last group game and then they lost the semi-final. And
I guess you have to say they started with the Philippines, so that was a big win.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an easy run to get them going for Australia, that's for sure. But yeah, I wouldn't want to pick a favourite for the final tomorrow. I think the third place game, Australia were always going to be favourites against Korea, and now that Korea potentially have some, you know, injury issues and going to have to run a shallow rotation, the odds just go even worse for Korea to try and win this one. So it looks like Australia should take the bronze, but the gold medal could be anybody's.
I don't think that China approached tonight's game the way they'll approach it tomorrow. I think it was totally different, not totally different starting lineup, but will we see Lee in the starting lineup, for example, tomorrow?
You just don't know. They've rotated their starting lineups like most of the teams have. And
Wang didn't start either. She was the star against Australia. So, yeah, so anyway, they've got time to think about it. And now it's just a matter of we'll see how they turn up tomorrow. But I'm pretty sure that especially Japan will be ready to go. They look like a team that was champing at the bit to get back into this competition.
Yeah, for me, I think Japan's strategy tomorrow is run.
Yeah,
I think they try and make the likes of Lee and Hanju and the bigs for China run the floor, because I don't think they're going to be comfortable doing that. I think the bigs for Japan, the likes of Takada and Takashiki, are happier running the floor.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the key. It's whether can China slow the game down, or do Japan enforce a high-tempo game? That might be the make or break for it.
So a thorough dismantling of Korea tonight for China, especially in the second half. They just rolled to a big win. And Korea now will have to face Australia in the third place game, whereas China will go up against Japan in the final. Earlier today, New Zealand won over Chinese Taipei in the fifth place game. Japan beat Australia by 12, followed by China winning over Korea. So that's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in once again here in Bengaluru at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup. We'll be right back tomorrow.